Wow! What's happening, everybody? It's your boy. I'm back. Let's talk with Stanley Doucette is on the air, baby. Let's go. How are you? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I am he, your host. I have another wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show. I'm excited with this show because it's a challenge for your boy. It is a absolute challenge for what we're going to dive in today. When I say a challenge, I do mean a challenge on some days. Some are better than others, but there are some days where it's just, yeah, yeah. Listen, go to all our social media platforms, please, if you don't mind. Go to, first of all, go to our website. Let's talk with StanleyDoucette.com, LET apostrophe S. Let's talk with StanleyDoucette.com. Go there. All of our previous podcasts are hosted there. You can go listen to as many of them as you want. Like, subscribe, share, send it to your neighbor, your cousin, your aunt, your uncle, and even the people you don't like, because you're going to help them grow as well. And then goes to social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube channel, and LinkedIn. When you go to those, just like, subscribe, share, send it to other people. If you guys don't mind, hey, take a look at our YouTube channel. Oh, let me look at my face. Oh, let me get my face together. Let me, don't worry, y'all. I have fun with myself doing podcasts. This is amazing. So today I want to talk about self-discipline. Just self-discipline. Just woo. Yeah, self-discipline. Hold on, I'm sorry. Let me shout out to all of my people from different parts of the world. Shout out to everybody from wherever you're calling from, whether it's Greece, whether it's Brazil, whether it's South Africa, whether it's the North America, South America, it doesn't matter. Shout everybody out, over 170 plus countries. Love you guys. Do the whole, if y'all on social media see me doing the heart. So hey, how you doing? I want to shout out to a friend of mine. I'm gonna surprise her. She don't know this, but I just want to shout her out. One of our very loyal listeners, and I truly appreciate it. I thanked her, and I thank her. So I'm gonna publicly thank her. She's gonna be shocked. But I want to thank my a friend of mine, Miss Linda Johnson out of Mississippi, in the United States. I just want to say, hey, Miss Linda, thank you so much for joining. I know you watching, so see. So hey, there's a lot of other individuals that have supported us from day one. I truly appreciate them. It's been an incredible journey, and I thank you, and I thank them. I also want to shout out my tita Carol. Hey, Carol. Hey, Carmela. How you ladies doing? They have a talk show called The Buzz. It is probably one of the hottest talk shows, that's on, actually on One Voice Radio as well. Come on Wednesday. Look it up. I think it's 11 a.m. Central, that it comes on, 12 o'clock noon or something to that effect. But look it up. It's amazing. They do an incredible job. They just started their YouTube channel as well. So, if you guys can support, I would love that. Just, hey, we sharing the love, spreading the love. So come on, join us. Let's do what we do. So I just want to shout a whole bunch of people out. Last week I had my birthday. Thank y'all for all the birthday wishes and celebrations. Thank you. But now let's get into this self-discipline. That's all great and all of that stuff. Thank you for everybody that's looking at, for the people that's listening for the very first time, looking at the YouTube channel for the very first time. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing to our YouTube channel. Y'all see I'm representing my school, Southern University, today. So let's get it. So self-discipline. Self-discipline. Man, man, self-discipline sometimes can be a monster. It can absolutely be a monster. Um, if matter of fact, if sometimes you have a challenge with self-discipline, just wave your hand, throw your hands in the air. Now, if you're driving, don't do that. Please don't do that. Keep your hands on the wheel, focus on where you're going, but don't do that. But if you guys understand, sometimes self-discipline can be very, very hard. Because you're not having lack of self-discipline for something you don't like. It may be something that you like, right? It may be something that you want to do, maybe something that you want to, somewhere you want to go. So for an example, you may want to go to a concert, but you also want to save some money, but it's your favorite artist and it may be their last concert. but you want to save some money because you need to do something. And you may want to, kind of get that money and I'm gonna put it back. I'm gonna put it back. I'm gonna put it back in the bank. So all of those things, I get it. So let's get into this self-discipline. I'm just gonna share with you, I think, 3 or 4 different pillars for self-discipline. I have notes everywhere, guys. This morning, I have notes everywhere. So if I'm looking down, if you're looking at YouTube, it's just because I'm looking at my different notes. So self-discipline. So I just want to make sure we understand where we are. So number one, I want to talk about acceptance, right? So in self-disciplines, one of the things is we got to accept where we are. Excuse me. We have to accept where we are. Acceptance is the most basic challenge many people face today. Just accepting where they are. A lot of times collectively, we fail to accurately perceive and accept. That's right, perceive and accept the current situation or our current situation. As a matter of fact, make it personal today because I think a lot of times we'll hear messages or we'll hear podcasts or we'll hear teachings or we'll hear some powerful information and we always project it out to someone else or and we'll say, oh, I wish such and such was looking at this podcast, or I wish my sister or my brother was looking at this podcast. No, let's project it to ourselves so we can receive it and learn from it and be able to continue to help ourselves grow into a better place. So I want to make sure we do that today. It is important to identify an area where we are lacking discipline. Where what's our weakest part? Some people may say it's food. Some people may say it's, I call it a slip of the tongue. Meaning you let some big bombs out, you let some F bombs out, or you say some different things. A matter of fact, I think it was matter of fact on my birthday was the actual presidential debate in America, and they got to a point where Vice President Kamala Harris had to literally catch herself because she was about to let loose, and she could see her like, no. But it took her some self-discipline. Excuse me, I don't know why I got something in my throat, but it took her some self-discipline to actually go through and not say what she really wanted to say. But everybody else in the world saw it. It was like, ooh, wee. So we're glad that she was able to do that. But that is something that was self-discipline, and she had enough discipline not to go down that road, right? So for us, what is our weakest? What is something, I don't like to say weakest, but what is something that we need to work on for real? Only you know that, right? Regardless of what it is it food, if it's losing weight, if it's men, if it's women, if it's school, if it's whatever it is, what is it that we need to work on? A lot of times it may even be ourselves. We just don't have discipline ourselves for the simplest of what some people may consider simple, but others may be like, man, this is not simple. This is hard as it comes. Like this is horrible. This is terrible. So regardless of what it is, so here's what we have to do, right? Biggest thing is, first of all, we have to be honest and accept where we are. We have to assess where we are. We really do have to assess where we are. And once we do that, now we can stand up what's right and see what that is right now. Acknowledge and accept that's where our starting point for that challenge is going to be. Now, the next thing I always hear this from my mentor, Lord Dr. Sam Warren. He's always talking about creating a plan, right? It's good to have goals, but if you don't have a plan to get to those goals, we got to do something. So first of all, a goal is to begin to increase on whatever that self-discipline challenge is. We want to elevate that. So how do you elevate it? First of all, we identified it. The goal is to make it better, whether it's food, and say, you know what, I'm not going to eat so much sweets, or I'm not going to eat I don't know, pig feet at night. I'm sorry, y'all. I just couldn't come up with anything else. But pig feet, that's something. Anyway, um, yeah, so we don't, whether we do any of those things, so we don't do that. So that's fine. So what's the next space? What's that next part that we have to do? What is the next thing that we have to come into it? So once we identify it, now we put the plan together. You know what? I'm not going to eat sweets at night. I'm not going to eat this chocolate at night. I'm not going to eat a full blown meal at night. I'm going to stay and only eat, let's say I'm not going to eat anything after 7 o'clock. Or if I eat anything after 7 o'clock, it'd be a salad, just literal vegetables. Or I'm just going to eat fruit. So, we have to continue whatever that may be. And I'm using food, but it can be anything that you may be having a challenge with, right? So once you do that, now you put the plan together, which we just talked about, and now you can begin to get better at whatever that challenge may be for your acceptance, right? Because here's the thing though, when you talk about accepting, so when you look in the mirror, unfortunately, sometimes accepting things may not be the best that you want to do. Sometimes it just kind of get into that like, ooh, I don't want to accept that I'm overweight. I don't want to accept that. One of the things I went through a medical procedure, and I was taking some I had to go through hormone therapy, and one of the side effects was actually weight gain. And I never forget, oh my, never forget the day that every day I had to weigh myself when I was going to the doctor, and I never forget who the weight. I saw the weight and it said 208. Now I know some people in the world like 208. Boy, I wish I was 208 pounds. Well, for me, I've never been that heavy ever in my life. I've never cracked 200 pounds in my life. It was like, oh my God, what is really going on? So in all of that, and you talking about that, it was like I have to get this. Like I started to just go crazy because that was like, okay, this is the last straw. I cannot get to 210 and then 220 and then 240. We not doing that. We are not doing that. So it was a concentrated effort to make sure not only did I start making sure that I was whatever I was eating, when I was doing it properly, but then started exercising and getting back into exercise. Now, granted, mine was due to something I went through when I had cancer, and I had to go through several different steps to continue to move forward. I'm not talking about the cancer. I'm just talking about how we started to become even more disciplined at what we were going to do. So it went from, all right, you making sure you eat something good, and making sure you get the right things in place, and begin to listen to this. This is powerful for some people, not only the physical part, but also the mental part. I started making sure what I was reading was positive, empowering, making sure it was lifting me up. But then also the physical side. Now I'm out, and I remember the first day I went out, and I was like, okay, I did 10,000 steps. I walked 10, put in 10,000 steps. It was a concentrated 10,000 steps. Now, why am I sharing that? Because sometimes you may want to break it up and all those things. I'm saying for me, I was like, I have to get this done. So I broke through just saying I'm just going to do 5,000 or 3,000 steps. No. Now, again, everybody have to set theirs according to them, not to what I did in me, but according to yourself. So when you did that, it was great. Then you did that, and you started getting back more into a rhythm. As athletes, you guys know, we start getting into a rhythm, and that rhythm becomes wonderful. So you start doing that, and you started getting a good sweat in. You start moving there. Now, at the beginning, I must admit, I didn't lose any weight, but my body started feeling better. And I talked to a lot of people, just it's like it's gonna come. And then eventually, as I got off the medication, after I finished the cycle of all of my medications and all of that stuff, and then started to exercise and doing the things that I was supposed to do, then you started seeing the numbers started coming back down, 208 and 205, and then so on, so on, so on. And that was a great feeling. But it wasn't just accepting the 208, but it was also accepting where I was mentally. So when I put all those things together, we started to create that plan, and it began to work wonderfully. Now, the question that I ask you is, what is it that you have to work on in your acceptance? First of all, you have to accept it. That's why I say bring it internally on this one, because you may say, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm just not going to do that. No, you have to accept it for yourself. It doesn't matter, good, bad, or indifferent. Accept the reality, not the representative that show up. You have to accept the reality of what it really is. If you have a porn problem and you like, oh my God, I want to keep looking at this, looking at this. And then when you do an assessment and say, oh, don't turn it off and be like, oh, I'm just doing that because I'm bored. No, that's a lie. That just accept where you are and then begin to do what you have to do to get off of that or whatever it is, right? And I'm doing some real extreme stuff, but just accept where it is and go from there. All right. So we can know the goal, we can set that plan, and we can begin to move forward from there. All right. So again, number one, you're talking about self-discipline and you're talking about making sure we can create that powerful self-discipline. Number one is absolutely accepting where you are. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, this one, I did a little bit more digging on this one. Number two is willpower. Willpower. Now, I'm gonna read all kind of stuff for you guys today to hear it. Take notes, write it down, and literally share this. This is it's amazing. So willpower, right? So one of the things we talk about, willpower is a concentration of forces. Choose your objectives, create a plan of attack, and then execute the plan. We talked about that. Your willpower, listen, this is the part. Your willpower is at its lowest when you feel stressed. Let me say that again. Your willpower is at your lowest when you feel stressed. So when you pick up that potato chip or that bag of potato chips or that carton of ice cream late at night, you're not doing it most of the time. You're not doing it just because you feel like some ice cream. You're doing it because you're stressing, you're thinking about something. I can tell you the truth, when we was in taking finals sometimes and you're stressing, you're studying, you got notes everywhere, you got all kind of stuff going on. And it's the final exam and you're stressing you studying and it's like, I'm hungry, let me get some chips. Well, are you really hungry? Or is that stress pushing you to that? So that's a willpower part. So let's talk about the willpower. Here's a definition of willpower. Control restrained impulses. So you have to control those impulses, right? But if you're stressed, you're at your weaknesses. So those impulses be like, let me just go get some chips. Ain't gonna hurt nothing today. Well, Stanley was at 208 pounds. And if I would have kept going and get some chips and some ice cream, I might be at 288 and not 208, right? And then you begin to go from there. So remember, if you're stressed and you have an impulse to do something, make sure you understand what that is. You're stressed, and that impulse will continue to pull you down or make you a little bit weaker. So here are some other things on willpower. Remember, number one is acceptance. Number two is willpower. I think all of us have great willpower, but how do we now begin to understand it? Because again, this is why I said to bring that into ourselves and not to somebody else, but today it's about us. And I believe we're going to create some incredible breakthroughs even on today. So let's look at this. What does it mean to have willpower? The ability to delay gratification, resist short-term temptations in order to meet long-term goals. Ooh, the ability to delay gratification, resisting short-term temptations. Let me just pause. Delayed gratification. How many? Look, don't even worry about it. Just ask yourself, can you resist gratification to meet a long-term goal? Can you resist gratification? Man, that is, listen, again, let's keep it all the way 100, not 100, but 100. It is absolutely painful some days to delay gratification on a multitude of things. I want that potato chip something awful, but can you not eat that potato chip to have meet your long term? Can you not eat that ice cream to meet your long term goal or whatever it may be? Man, remember, you talking about gratification, especially what's going on in the world today. There's so much that's going on in the world today. You're getting Bad news here, bad news there. A friend going through something, another friend going through something, a boyfriend going through something, a girlfriend going through something, a husband going through something, a wife going through something, your best friend going through something, your cousin going through something, your aunt, your uncle. It's everybody going through something. And sometimes you just want gratification. I mean, you just literally want that gratification. Like, can I just have this gratification? Please let me have this gratification. And even now, I'm just like, whoa, that's a lot, man, listen. And then you have resist short-term temptations. Listen, them chips sitting right on the counter. And you're like, oh, can I just get one? Now, you know good and well, if you have one, you're going to need another. And next, you're going to get some juice to go with it. And you're going to have all of those things. So can we actually do that to meet our long-term goals? Sometimes we fail. Let's be honest. Sometimes we absolutely just fail at not at resisting the short term or resisting the gratification. Sometimes we literally just fail. It's okay when you acknowledge, you know, like I would say, repent, try to do better, continue to do better, continue to build, continue to elevate, to, you know, on and on and on. But if you don't, number one, accept and then understand what willpower is, you're already defeated. So this is why I think this is one of the most important things that we've discussed on Let's Talk, because it's self-discipline. There are a lot of things that should come your way. And sometimes our lack of self-discipline either pushes it away or cancels it altogether. Let me say that again. Sometimes our lack of self-discipline, sometimes push it, the thing that you've been wanting, it pushes it away for a longer period of time, or it completely cancels it out altogether. That hurts. That hurts. Yes, yes, yes. That hurt, because think about it. If you're eating something, then the doctor say you can't eat any more chips anymore. Man, ooh, that hurt. Boy, that hurt. That hurt. That hurt. That hurt. Or they may say, listen, you're going to have to not eat this for the next 6 months or the next year. That still hurt. But because we didn't have self-discipline, because we wanted that gratification right now, or we wanted the whatever that thing is right now. Whew, that hurts sometimes. But be honest with yourself. It's okay. That's why we're doing it. That's why we're doing talking about self-discipline today on Let's Talk, because guess what? All of us are getting better, getting stronger, getting faster. We're climbing. We're going as a family. We're together. All of our Let's Talk family, we are going together, because we don't always make the right choices. We don't always be the best. But when we are literally working through this together as a family, it makes it that much easier. As a matter of fact, do me a favor, family, send me a message, send me something on YouTube, just sharing some of the things and stressors that we're going through. I'm going to answer them, I'm going to respond. You know, let's have a dialogue about that. Or let's go to Let's Talk. Go to the email. What's our email? Let's talk with Stanley D at gmail.com. L-E-T apostrophe, oh, not apostrophe in the email, L-A-T-S. Let's talk with Stanley D at gmail.com. Go there, send a message. Let's have a dialogue with this self discipline, because sometimes it hurts. Willpower, that's another one. So all of these, let's have that discussion, family. So we talking about willpower and all of those things, about sometimes listen, the great, if we delay that gratification and do it right, the thing that we want will be standing right beside us for eternity. But if we don't do it right, you never know if it's going to be pushed away, or we'll never have it ever. And that's the thing that sometimes it scares me. But let's make sure that we all are working towards that, so we can get all of those beautiful blessings that you've always been asking, wanting, praying for, seeking. So let's get that done. Let me give you something else on self-discipline and going into still into willpower. Okay. This is another good one. The ability to control one's own actions, emotions, and urges. It's the same thing we said earlier, but it gives a little bit more clarity. So do you have the willpower to control your own actions. You may be upset with somebody, and before in the past, you may just snap. Somebody say something, you bam, you going into it because it sets you off. Okay, great. But do you now continuously, as you're growing, as you're building, have the willpower not to go off? You may, hey, you may have to get a victory and say, you know what, today I did not go off when that lady or that man said this. Great, congratulations, we're on that path. We're getting better. We're getting better. Make sure you acknowledge yourself. We're getting better. We're getting better. So that's a great thing. Or the ability to control one's action, emotions. Man, emotions get us in trouble a lot. I was in the police department sometimes, and there's something that happened, and the emotions that get to me, I just snap. I mean, when I say quick, I had a fuse that was quicker than a fuse. I mean, I would just snap in a minute. But you keep getting better. You keep getting a little bit more wise. You keep looking at things to do and to increase yourself. See, every single day I look to learn. Every single day, I think most of the family on Let's Talk look to learn, to get better, to be stronger, to be faster every single day. And there are some things I don't like about myself. It's just like, I don't like that. But every single day, I'm working to get better. What about you? Are you working on your willpower now? Right, just take your time. Have some reflective time when you're doing it, and let's talk about it. Let's literally talk about it again. Send me some messages. Let's look at it and be for real with this, right? Because we're going to get everything that we prayed for. Here's another one. Here's something that may cause a lack of willpower, right? Um, what stresses really does when wait, let me say it a different way. What stress really does is deplete willpower, which diminishes your ability to control these emotions, right? What stresses really does is deplete willpower. What stress really does is deplete willpower. What stress really does is deplete willpower. What stress really does is deplete willpower, which diminishes your ability to control emotions. I think that's great. Let me read that to you guys. Um, I didn't write that. That's by Doctor. I don't even know how to say his name. I'll actually spell it to you guys. But listen to this. Write this down. What stress really does is deplete willpower, which diminishes your ability to control emotions. Let me say that again. What stress really does is deplete willpower, which diminishes your ability to control emotions. Mm. And that's by Dr. Okay, let me spell it for you guys. B as in boy, Aumeister. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I don't want to mess the man name up. So that's what that is. And that's who gave that quote. And I think that's a powerful quote. If we take that and bring it together, I think that in and of itself becomes a very powerful, powerful quote. Okay. So let me say it one more time so you can write it down, meditate on it, think about it, and you'll understand what that part is. What stress really does is deplete willpower. Mm. Which diminishes your ability to control those emotions. I think that is a great way to stop. I don't say stop. I'll just say pause on willpower when we're talking about self-discipline. I think that is absolutely an amazing part to be there to control ourselves at every way, right? Um, I want to say this to everybody. Self-control sometimes even hurt. Because if we've been doing something one way all of our lives, and then you realize it's something else that's different that we have to change, and now you have to discipline yourself to do it a different way, or the proper way, or the correct way, or the right way, and you don't, not all the time we want to change. So sometimes that's like, oh, that's a little painful because now we have to go in that direction. So brace yourself, but also I know you have the ability to continue to go forward because you are a powerful individual. So brace yourself, but then also understand it is just going through so you can be even better. All right. That's just part of the process. The next one I'm going to talk about is hard work. So we have acceptance. Now we done went through willpower. Now let's talk about hard work. Here's where most people avoid is the hard work. We don't want to do the hard work. We'll get to the willpower and the acceptance. Okay, I did all that stuff, but now it's actually working on it and actually putting in the work, the discipline of putting in that work. And sometimes we just don't want to do it. How do I say it? Hard work is one of those things that is a must to continue to improve ourselves, because we it's not someone else that we can look to. It's not someone else we can blame. It is us. We are the ones that have to push through this particular thing. I absolutely love hard work. Now, you may not like it all the time, like, I'm a former athlete. I'm not playing any sports any longer, but you know hard work, one of the things that I just absolutely did not like is getting in shape. For baseball season, you're doing is running, and you doing, you catching 1,000 ground balls, and you catching 1,000 fly balls, and you all of this stuff, and you relearning every year. This FYI for all of those baseball players out there, every year teach yourself how to hit again. Don't try to continue on what you did last year. Every single year, continue to improve. That's a whole separate thing, but that's a FYI. So I didn't always like sprints. I didn't always like to run the 60. I didn't always like to run the poles. I didn't always like to run the run around the baseball field. I didn't like to run stands. It's cool, but I was like, I'm already in shape. No, but you do it, you do it, you do it, you do it. That's the hard work. But then once you change your mindset, you change your thought process into, let me go ahead on and knock these 20 foul pole sprints out. Let me knock those out. Let me go get these 1,000 ground balls in so I could go up and do what I want to do, right? Because you start working hard. But again, you're focusing on what your future is going to be. You're looking at the forward. You're not looking behind. So remember, hard work is a vital part of it. And the last one I'm going to talk about, persistence. I am great at persistence, right? Once I lock in, I lock in. I lock in. I am persistent. If I'm locked in, my mentor, I'm laughing, but he calls me the bulldog sometimes because I'm persistent. When I lock in, baby, it's on. We're gonna get this done. Now, if I'm not locked in, sometimes it's kind of like, oh well, I don't know. I maybe not. Don't know. We'll figure it out. But when you talk about being persistent, allow you to keep taking action, even when you don't feel motivated to do so. And therefore, you keep accumulating results because you're persistent. If you go and get a customer and you're in sales and you need a customer, and you going, listen, just because somebody told you no the first time and the second time and the third time, and you talk to somebody else, listen, persistence, go get yours, go do yours. Let's make it happen. I am absolutely thrilled to be persistent and make this thing go and do what it needs to do. Yes, sir. Because you're persistent. You're going to do those powerful things and be amazing at what you do. So remember, I'm closing out on persistence because you have to be persistent in getting your goals completed. You have to be persistent and have hard work and have the willpower and acceptance to complete your goals, because you are better than what other people try to put you in this box. You are even greater than what you try to tell yourself. Listen, believe in you, believe in where you're going, believe in how powerful you are, and let's keep pushing. Keep self-discipline in the proper context. Don't, if you make a mistake, don't quit on life. Hey, I made a mistake. Get up, dust yourself off, ask for forgiveness, and keep going. Get with your mentor, your coach, your teacher, your mom, your dad, somebody to help motivate you and keep helping you elevate yourself. Just because you made a mistake does not mean you are a failure. You made one mistake. Okay, look at it, learn from it, and do your absolute best to keep pushing forward and try not to do that mistake again, right? Listen, I heard Michelle Obama say that. She said, being successful is not that you didn't fail or you didn't make a mistake. It's but you kept going and you learned from those mistakes. Keep going, family. I don't care what industry you're in. I don't care what you're doing. Keep going to be successful, whether it's spiritual, whether it's psychologically, whether it's emotionally, whether it's physically, regardless of what it is. Where industry is in business, or if it's in you're about to preach your first sermon, you are about to go into the major leagues for the first time, you just got the call to the show, you just got drafted, you looking to get drafted. I don't care. Keep going. You have everything you need to be as successful as you want to do. All right. And I should say not want to do, but also want to be. So shout out to all of the family. Shout out to everybody that's out there. I love you guys. Don't forget, send me a message. Respond to the YouTube channel. Go to the YouTube channel. It's LET''S. Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. Go there, like, subscribe, share. But most important, let's engage in this so we can continue to be better. That being said, I'm going to see you guys next week. I got one I've been thinking about. The holiday season coming up. So I may do something on that, but I'm not sure yet. There's something else may pop up into my brain and I do some research on. But listen, I love you guys. I always thank God for each and every one of you for listening, either what is the first time or you guys consistently listen. Thank you. The numbers climb, the numbers stay where they are. Continue to do. But I say this to you, continue to be your best. And I will see you guys on the beaches of the world. So that being said, I love each and every one of you. God bless, and I'll see you next week on Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I'm out. Peace.